Hey guys, how's it going? It's Zahait here, and we're back with a brand new episode of The Farmer Was Replaced. And guys, check it out. I'm actually on the leaderboard. Where am I? 134? Look at that! There I am, right there. We're just over an hour, and I've made a few upgrades to our code, and what I want to do today is kind of just go through them a little bit, and I've started myself a little change log here so that I don't forget, and we can kind of go through all of the stuff. So that is what we're going to do today. It might be a little bit of a quicker video than normal because I don't think we're going to be doing a lot of programming. I kind of just want to go through the stuff that I've changed since the last episode. And there's one main thing outstanding right now, and it is my maze. My maze solving program. Right now, we're still brute forcing it. We're not recycling anything. And I think in the next episode, that is what we're going to be working on. I don't know how to do it yet, but I'm hoping we're going to be able to figure it out because I think that is going to save me more time than anything else right now that I could do, I think. I've rearranged some of my unlock list. These are not important, these two. They're just old ones. This, I think, right now is the fastest that I've been able to come up with. There's probably faster ways, but just to give you an idea, that's kind of where my list is at right now. I don't know. I still have some playing around to do, but let's hop in and let's look at my change log and we'll go through some of these things. So I added a harvested, quote unquote, list to my farm bones code. Let's go in here and we'll take a look. To replant most of the dinosaurs harvested immediately. So what I actually ended up doing, and someone had commented to me before that, instead of just like brute forcing my way through here, and if it's empty, plant a dinosaur, and if it's not, then just continue on your way. What I've done is the code was planting eggs on every square, which is fine. We wanted to do that, but then once it came through, if it found a spot with 4, it was mining, like harvesting them, and then just moving on its way and leaving these squares empty. So all I've done is added right in here where I'm counting the number of colors that are matching. I'm adding it to a list, and the list is just harvested. So if we have more than 4 of the same color at the end and we do harvest, then all I want to do is go into my list for I in harvested. So for everything in my list, for every position, I'm going in there and I'm putting a new egg in. So if I end up here and I harvest these 4 here, then all 4 of those tiles, actually, am I storing all 4 of those tiles? I'm not storing the one that I'm on, actually. I don't think I am. I'm going to have to add that in. I'm going to have to add that in. I don't think I am. Harvested equals 0. No, I'm not. So right in here, I'm going to have to add that in. Harvested. Oh, good catch on my end here. Harvested dot append. And we are going to just add the location that we're on. So that's just going to be cur location 0, cur location 1. It should just be this. So we're going to add that into here. Make sure we got enough brackets to close all that off. I think this is supposed to be like that. Like that? I think that's supposed to be like that. And I guess I probably don't need these brackets here. Or the parentheses. We'll get rid of them. That should be all we need. Hopefully that still works. Anyway, so now what I'm doing is I'm adding my current location into my harvested. I'm just going to assume that I harvested. And if I didn't, I'm recycling it anyway. So now any single one that matches the color is getting appended. And then once I harvest, I'm going to each one of those locations and I am adding a new dinosaur egg. So bingo. Now we're not going to end up with, well, we're going to end, in case there's like 7 in a row here that are all the same color, we're going to replace a couple of them. We're not going to replace them all, but it's better than nothing. So right away, we have the information to put at least 4 eggs back down. So that is good. So that was one of the things I worked on. Bingo. The second thing, let me close this. The second thing I worked on is added a list of lists. Now that might sound a little bit weird, but I added a list of lists for farm flowers, and this I'm pretty proud of. You're going to like this, I think. To always harvest the largest flower. Okay, so now if we go into my farm flower code, it's a little bit janky, but I'm still proud of it. So what I've done is I made a list here that's called petals. And it's just a big list of empty lists for now. Then we're planting for number n in range of farm size, which up here I've set farm size just equal to my get world size squared. This is basically running the code in here once for every square on my map. Then I'm going to harvest whatever is there, because I don't know what is there, but I don't want it there. Then if it is grounds.turf, I am tilling it. Otherwise, I'm just going to plant a sunflower. And then what I'm doing, and this is the interesting part, I'm taking petals, which is just my list of lists, and I'm setting the 15 minus number of petals location. So if it's 15, it's going to be going into the 0 spot, which is good. It's going to be right at the start of my list. If it's 7, it's going to be going into the 7 slot, and I probably didn't need all of these. Oh no, because if it's 15, yeah, I guess it only goes down to 7, so the most I would have needed was 7. But anyway, it's fine. Doesn't make any difference. So 15 minus measure, and then we're going to append the location that we are. So what that's doing is if we have a 15 petals, and we're gonna go into position 0, and we're going to append the location to this list. So now instead of this list being empty, it's gonna have my location of 15 petals. And it does that for the number of times that we need. So that's all fine and well. Now, if I just run this, you should be able to see it working. I think I can actually just get it to work here. I probably should have ran my dinosaur code too, just for fun. Let's do farm bones first, and then we'll go back into this one, just so you can see it. Farm bones, we'll say, I don't know, 4100. Hopefully that's just gonna work. Farm bones. So the first thing is we gotta get the pumpkins. I've made a couple upgrades to the pumpkin code too, and we'll go over that. I guess now is probably a good time to do it. So in my pumpkin code, I'm keeping track of the squares that I know did not have a pumpkin, and I'm just iterating between them. So once I've gone over a square and I know it's a harvestable pumpkin, I never have to go back to that square again. And it's quite a bit more efficient than what I was doing before. And I'll go into the code here after and we'll show you guys. And I'll also slow this down maybe so that you can actually see what it's doing. But right now we're just trying to farm up enough stuff so we can actually do this bone thing. Okay, so let's see. I set the execution speed here to 3. And we can see how this code is going to work. I haven't actually slowed it down for myself to see if it actually was working or not. But it should, in theory, be doing what we wanted it to. So it's going to go check for 4 of a kind. And then if they match, it should go and replant down the dinosaurs. So let's see what it does here. Okay, here we go. We're going through. I guess I probably don't want it to go there. Oh, it's actually working. Yeah, that's working. It's going to harvest there. And see, there's the problem. There was a whole bunch of brown guys that were touching, and it didn't farm them all. Or, I mean, it didn't replant them all, but it is doing what we wanted it to, and now we're over the goal, so that's why it stopped. But it seems like it's working, so that's actually 10 out of 10, and that little bit of a increase there that I did with planting on the middle one that I wasn't doing before, I think is actually going to increase my speed even more. So that's awesome. Now that that's all done, let's farm some flowers, and I'll show you how this code is working. Let's set this to like 75,000 maybe. I don't know. Farm flowers. And let's do that. Okay, so it is farming flowers. It's harvesting whatever's in there, which is what we want. And then it's planting flowers, and I guess... Oh, that chicken. Hang on, we gotta clear all this. Clear all that. The chicken got in the way. The one good thing is I never have to farm anything after the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs is the last thing that I have to do. So anyways, what we're doing is we're adding a list. So here is our list of lists, and it looks like a bunch of gibberish. Because it kind of is. But what's happening is it's storing everything in a list, and like I was saying before, I don't think those last like 5 or 6 are ever going to have anything in them. So I probably could shorten this thing a little bit. I don't know if it really matters. It probably doesn't. But anyway, I'll show you exactly what it's doing here once it's done. Let's finish letting this thing run through real quick. Alright, so we're basically done with the flowers here. We're going to end up with this big, long list of lists that are full of stuff. Perfect. Now, what it's doing, I have a nested for loop here. So for every, I don't know, for every index in petals, which for every list in my list, I am doing another for loop, and then for every coordinate in that list, I am going to the coordinate, and while I can't harvest it, I am watering it just to speed it up, and then I am going to harvest it as soon as I can. So if I just play this, you should see it go to every petal, or every flower that has 16 petals, and then it'll go to every one that has 15 petals, and because everything's harvestable right now, it's not even going to water, but anyway, you'll get the idea. So it's just going around and it's picking all the ones that have 16. And because I'm using coordinates with my fancy new move to, it's picking the fastest route to get to each one. So there we go. We got all the 16s gone. Now we're going through and we're picking up all the 15s. This is great. I'm actually proud of this code. This is a very, very nice code. This is my first time ever nesting a for loop, so... There's probably better ways to do this, but I'm proud of it, so we're gonna just go with it. So anyway, that's the process here. It's just doing that over and over and over again, going through, iterating each one of these things. And I guess because some of these are empty and I'm still looking at them, it would probably save me like milliseconds to take these empty ones out of here. Probably the last 2, 4, 6, it looks like, don't actually need to be in here. So 2, 4, 6. I hope that doesn't break anything. But there we go. That should save us just a small smidgen of time, hopefully. Let's just make sure that that still works after I did that. Execution speed equal to 0. Okay, so it should still work. Oh, I don't want this to be paused anymore. And now you'll notice that it's actually watering them. So when it gets to them, if it can't harvest them yet, it is plunking down some water. And I don't know why this is broken. Something is broken. It shouldn't be. Let's clear it. I don't know if I just... Oh, it's not broken. I just ran, like, I met the goal. So it stopped farming because I met the goal. Okay, I think it's fine. I think it's working. Nothing to see here. I hope it's still working. If I broke it, then I guess I broke it. I'll have to fix it later. But, moving on. I have added a sort effectiveness to my farm cactus code to prevent it from accidentally not farming enough cactuses. So what I was doing originally is when I was calculating how many times I had to farm cactuses, I was assuming that I was going to be sorting them 100% effectively. But the way my sort code works is it's not 100% effective. And actually, I had the numbers up here. After one pass, I was only getting about 55% of the maximum number of cactuses out of my field. After 2 passes, I was getting 90%. And after 3 passes, I was getting around 99 and like 99 point something percent, because it's like almost 100% of the time I was getting full, but there's sometimes where 3 is not even enough. So anyway, I've set a num sort in here, and I can play around with the number of times that I want to sort my field. And I've done that down here. Well, count is less than farm size times the number of sorts. It's going to sort, essentially. So I just am running my code through as many times as I decide I want to. And right now, I think the difference between 90% effective and 99% effective, as far as like quantity of cactuses is concerned, I don't think it's worth the extra pass. So I'm just leaving it at 2 right now. That's what I've done. And yeah, anyway, so that's pretty fun. I like that. And I guess I could show you guys. Let me just run that really quick. Farm Cactus. And we'll set that to 75,000. Sure, let's do that. Or maybe 76 so that it actually... Well, it doesn't make a difference because it farms the whole thing in one go. So you'll notice here that once it's gone through at one time, most of them are sorted. But there's enough of them that aren't sorted that it actually is not very efficient. So the second time it goes through this thing is quite a bit faster. So I think it is worth doing it the second time. You'll see here right away. It's almost done the first time. Okay, there. Now it's going through the second time. And this is real-time speed. So the second time is quite fast. And it's definitely worth it because it's like a 50%... It's like almost 70% increase in effectiveness. So... I think it's worth it. Anyway, that's what I've added to my cactus farm. Beautiful. Added a number sorts variable to change the number of times fields are sorted. Yeah. That's what I was just talking about. So we just did that. Revised pumpkin code to keep track of failures and only go to failed locations complete with watering after first pass. Now let me show you this one. This one I'm also pretty proud of. So what I'm doing in here is when I plant the pumpkins... I am immediately adding, after I've planted the pumpkin, I am immediately adding the location to a failed list. It's just, I'm assuming that it failed. 100% of the time, if I plant a pumpkin, it's going to fail. Then, once I'm done planting, this is the planting part of the code, then this is the, like, checking part of the code. So, once I'm done planting, I am updating my fails. So I come in here and for everything, for all of the locations in my failed list, I am going to that location. So move to failed at that location. And then I am checking to see if it's a pumpkin. If it's nothing, then obviously I need to plant a pumpkin there. And then I want to water it and I want to make a new list. Now I'm making a new list with a new failed location. So I know because I had to plant this pumpkin that it's still a failed pumpkin and we are adding it to a new updated fails. So I'm taking this item and adding it to this one. Then if I end up finding a pumpkin and I cannot harvest it, I am watering it and I am updating it in my fails list because I still don't know if it is going to grow or not. So I'm slapping some water onto it and then I'll come back to it later and make sure that it actually grew. Then once I'm done all of that, I am making my failed list equal to my updated fail list, and then I'm going to just keep reiterating it until this list here, my failed list, has 0 items in it. And I'll just show you guys what this looks like with a little bit slower speed, because at 5 times speed or at 100 times speed or whatever, it's like way too fast. So let's just go like 10,000 and we'll just pick a number here. And why is this not working? Farm cactus. I need farm pumpkin. Farm pumpkin. Okay, so we're gonna plant the pumpkins. Now you'll notice some of these are missing, but it's okay because right now my failed list is every single tile on the farm. Every single one I'm assuming has failed. And then you'll notice here, once it's done planting, we'll wrap around and we'll start specifically going to, well, I guess it has to go through the whole farm one more time. So you'll see here in a second, it's going to go over everything because it, at this point, doesn't know what's grown and what doesn't. But now it knows that all of these don't need to be checked the next time. So it's not going to come up to any of these, but it still has to come and check these ones because the last time it was here, it had to plant. So now when it comes back around, it's going to check and make sure. So you'll see it come back around, go here, but skip over all of this stuff. So it's not going in here anymore. Now we had to come back and down here. This one we know is planted, so it's not going to come here anymore. And now we're done. But it still has to check this spot because it planted there, and bingo, that's it. So it's a lot more efficient. I'm not going through the whole field every time. If I just make this a little bit quicker, and we set this to like 20,000. I kind of want to find a situation where he just gets stuck on one square. It's very efficient now when there's only one tile left, and this one tile is really stubborn and doesn't want to plant. Because then rather than going through the whole farm, coming back here, planting it, going through the whole farm again, coming back here, planting it, and then doing that over and over again, it's just going to sit here, and it's just going to keep going, and it's going to water it, and it's going to keep going and watering it and going until it works. So way more effective this way. Absolutely love it. I don't think there is a way to make this better. I actually think this is fully optimized now, and I don't see any way to make my pumpkin farms faster. Anyway, you'll notice here, I would really love it if one of these was stubborn so I could show you how it doesn't move around and it just stays there. This one looks like it might be. Oh, so is that one. So these two, now it's just going to keep going back and forth between those two, and bingo, done. How cool is that? That is awesome. That is great. And then obviously you noticed I've been watering stuff. So the last thing I've done is I've implemented a water code. The water code I'm not super duper happy with, but it is what it is. So what I'm doing is I'm setting a variable veg, which is just equal to the entity that I'm standing on. So if I call the water code, then I need to know how much water to put on the thing. And purchase equals 1, just because I'm not sure if I'm happy with buying one tank at a time or not. It's whatever. So in here, I have a dictionary full of water levels, and each thing is a different thing. So if it's grass and I call water for some reason, I don't want to water it, so my water level is just going to be 0. I don't want to water grass ever. Entities.carrots, I don't want it to go lower than 0.9, because at the start it really pushes the carrots to grow faster. And then bush, I probably don't even need to water bushes, but whatever, I got 0.5 in there. Same thing, trees, I got 0.5. Pumpkins I have as 1, because if I get to a spot where a pumpkin is and I call the water command, I want to water it 100% of the time. I want to just keep watering that thing every time I'm on it. Got to get it going as fast as possible. Same thing with sunflowers. If I'm sitting on a sunflower and I want it to grow, I want it to grow as fast as possible. So we're just going to sit here and we're going to water it until I can't water it anymore. And I probably shouldn't have it set to 1, because that literally, I think, means it's going to just water it nonstop even if it doesn't need water. So I should be setting this to like something that's very high but not stupidly high. You know what? I think 0.9 is probably just a reasonable number. Let's just go 0.9. It'll save me a little bit of water in the future. And then if get water is less than water level, then we are watering. If we have water. If number of water tanks is greater than 0, we are watering. And if it's not, then we are just buying some more. So then we are just buying some more water tanks. So if I get to a spot and I need to water and I don't have enough water, then I just end up buying more tanks. And that's why this number is really low. I don't know if it's really that big of a deal that I'm purchasing one at a time, because this whole thing here, I think it only takes 1 operation. Takes the time of 2 operations to execute. Oh, if it succeeds. So it actually is pretty slow, but like at this point, that 200 operations is nothing. I mean, I'm still over an hour and people are getting 20 minutes. So like, you know, saving 30 seconds is nothing. And it's not even going to be 30 seconds. I don't think it's going to be 30 seconds. So I'm not too worried about this right now. We can play around with that later once I'm really trying to squeeze some time. But for now, that's where I'm at. I'm kind of interested now that I've made that one change in my farm bones code. I just want to see if that actually makes a difference. It should, because the farming of the bones takes a long time for me. Yeah, like I'm pretty sure the bone farming takes around 4 to 5 minutes right now, or it did. So hopefully once we get there this time, it's going to be a little bit quicker. The flowers always lag out, and I don't know why. It always gets super laggy when I start to farm the flowers. And it might be because it's actually pausing to water them so they can grow faster. I wonder if I should be watering the cactuses, or the flowers, immediately when I plant them, because they are rather slow to grow. And ooh, that is a new best time, so it saved me a little bit of time, but not a whole lot. That's not bad. Okay. And so that's an interesting idea, though, I just had about the farm flowers. We probably could, when I measure, if this number is high, it means I'm gonna have to come and harvest it relatively soon. So I should probably be watering it. Like if it's above 15, say, or 15 or more, I should probably water it because it's going to be one of the first ones that I have to harvest. So that seems to make sense. But I might want to change it later, so let's just set like a limit in here. Petal water? I don't know. Let's set that equal to like 14. And then I can change it later if it seems like it's not working properly. But, so if petal water is less than or equal to, that's right, measure, then we are going to water. And then we can change that later. Maybe it's like 13. Let's go 13. Less than or equal to 13. Petal water is less than or equal to measure. Yep, that should work. So if I end up with a farm, a flower farm, and they have 13, 14, or 15, or 16, well, that's a lot. Let's go 14. 14, 15, or 16 petals, we are going to water it. And I might actually want to water it twice. Maybe I put another one in here. If petal water, maybe we do this. Petal water plus 2 is less than or equal to measure. Then we're going to water it again. Because I think my water code only waters things one time. Let me see. Where's my water code? If get water less than water level veg, use item water. Yeah, we're only doing it one time. So this will allow me to water the 16s twice, which is probably good, honestly. I think it's good. Let's see what it looks like when we're doing it. It should work. Farm flowers. And we'll set this to some big number like 80,000. So if it's, yeah, see, now it's watering these ones with a lot of petals, which I think is good. Yeah, that's not bad. And it should be double watering the really big ones. And that means when I come through to harvest, I shouldn't have to water it after, which should save me a little bit of time, I hope. Okay, let's set this to 0 and rerun this thing. I'm maybe overwatering some of these things and underwatering some of them. Okay, I think I need to lower the number that I'm watering because we're not... Let's set this to 90. We're still stopping during the harvest phase, and I don't want to do that. Yeah, so we're still stopping to water. Maybe I need to lower this number down. Let's go 13 and try it again. Maybe that is a little bit of a better number. We're still stopping. Maybe I even need a third water on the really high ones. Error. Operator cannot be used on the operands 15 and none. Did I not have enough flower seeds? I think I don't have enough flower seeds. Yeah, I don't. Okay, so let's see how this goes. Now it's watering all sorts of flowers. We had to stop there, but only for a brief second. So that actually seems pretty good. I'm kind of happy with that. Let's set this to 100,000. And try it one more time. It's briefly stopping. That's not bad. I don't mind that. Okay, let's give it one more shot here and see if that actually speeds up anything. I imagine if it does make a difference, it's going to be very, very minor, but we'll give it a go. We'll see how it works. Okay, it was a little bit slower, but I think there is enough randomness in here that that little bit difference is not a bad thing. I don't necessarily think running it one time is enough to say whether or not that was a good or bad change. So I think we'll leave it for now. I don't think the water is adding that much time. It should be saving me time, I think. I hope. It should be. So I think it's fine. I'll leave it for now. I'll try to remember that it's there. If I'm trying to really, really squeeze some time later, maybe we can play around with a little bit more. I can also change this number. And I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And maybe what I want to do is water change equals 2. And then I'll just go like this plus water change so that I don't forget that I did that. And then if I want to play around with this number after, we can do it. So right now we're doing anything that's 13 or more is getting 1 water. Anything that's 15 or more is getting 2 waters. And yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. We'll leave it like that. Anyway, we're on the leaderboard. We're rank 130. We're still over an hour, unfortunately, but we're getting so close to under an hour. As soon as I fix my maze code, I think that is going to be a game changer for us. So we'll have to play around with that in the next episode. But guys, I hope you are loving this series right now. If you are, show me some support. Leave me a thumbs up. Drop me a comment. Let me know how you're liking this series. I'm so happy that you guys are loving it so far. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here. And I will see you next time.